ladies and gentlemen, that's a hashtag this evening. CM only for Muslims. Why are we saying that? Because is favoring one community over another on religious lines secularism? If not, then why is the K. Chandrasekhar Rao government in Telangana rolling out welfare schemes only for Muslims in the state? An exclusive economic IT corridor for minorities, 100% subsidy for units worth up to rupees 2.5 lakhs for minority youth alone, 10% quotas in government's flagship housing schemes, and another 12% Muslim reservation in educational institutions. These are some of the welfare schemes that have been announced by the Telangana government. The likes of Owaisi and other so-called liberals lauded the Muslim tilt of CM KCR by calling it development and not appeasement. I want to ask them just one question. If Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, announces similar measures for Hindus, would they still back it? Here's a report.
The Telangana Chief Minister is facing backlash for launching schemes for a particular community. While the state suffers heavy debt and agrarian crisis, KCR prefers being a CM just for Muslims.
A series of SOPs were announced for Muslims in the state. In fact, one of the announcements says that a special IT corridor should be set up for Muslims along with an industrial estate exclusively for Muslims, raising a lot of eyebrows across the state.
The BJP has lashed out at KCR, calling it blatant appeasement. But AIMIM chief Owaisi and others defend the move as development push.
Chandrasekhar Rao, K. Chandrasekhar Rao is the Chief Minister of Telangana. He is not Nizam of Hyderabad. He cannot have a development for certain communities, SOPs for certain communities, only for the sake of building an vote bank, and therefore indulging in such acts of appeasement which are in complete contravention of our democratic character.
IT corridor that will come up in a WAF land. So it is good that a WAF land is being utilized, because if you don't utilize, you're making it it's vulnerable. You're making it vulnerable to land grabbers. I do not know why such hue and cry is being made, because end of the day, if you want development, you'll see appeasement.
For selectively implementing programs for minorities, KCR's only savior is differentiating quota from giving the entire program away for appeasement.
Just not pre-poll, CM KCR right after swearing in has been on the job of appeasement. I mean, how would you have, not even in Islamic nations, that somebody would declare that I would have an IT corridor just for the Muslims? How can you have a religious IT corridor? So it is the height of absurdity. Only CM KCR can even imagine something like that.
We have never said that a separate IT corridor for Muslims. We said that a separate small-scale IT corridor where we give some certain percentage of quota for Muslims also.
Those lauding KCR's Muslim tilt slammed UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath's visit to Ayodhya as a sign of Hindu bias. After all, can prioritizing one community over another be called social justice? Bureau Report, Times Now.
You're watching the News Hour at 9.
Is the Telangana Chief Minister a CM only for Muslims? That's the question we asked tonight. Would people like Asaduddin Owaisi and the Congress party support Yogi Adityanath if he was to bring out schemes only for Hindus in Uttar Pradesh, just like K. Chandrasekhar Rao has brought out schemes only for Muslims in Telangana? That's what we are going to debate tonight. And joining me this evening, Dr. Sambit Patra, National Spokesperson of the BJP, joining me live in our studios in Noida. M.R. Venkatesh, political analyst, also with us here, joining me live in our studios in Noida. Ghanshyam Tiwari, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, with us in our studios. Shamsher Khan Pathan, national president of the Awami Vikas Party from the Mumbai studios. Mahmood Paracha, senior lawyer, joining me live, and Bhanu Prasad, spokesperson of the TRS, joining me live from Hyderabad. My first question goes across to Mr. Bhanu Prasad. Mr. Bhanu Prasad, is Mr. KCR a chief minister only for Muslims? Yes. What about poor Hindus? What about poor other communities like Christians and Sikhs? Will we have IT estates in Hyderabad based on religion now? Will there be a Sikh IT estate? Will there be an IT corridor for Christians, separate IT corridor for Muslims? Is that the plan for Telangana that Mr. KCR